Good afternoon or evening, wherever you may be. Welcome to another show. I'm glad whoever can make it has made it. Hey, Jim. It's a news day, so we're going to be discussing a little bit more factoid stuff than normal. So apparently in Portland, the folks involved in all the rioting are not going to be facing charges. So we're gonna read what the revised policy here for Portland, Oregon is. It already has a high crime rate as is, but let's just not prosecute anything for anything. Let's let it happen. These people are insane. Absolutely freaking insane. So here we are. Those arrested in the Portland riots won't face charges under revised policy. Now, I don't know about you, but this sounds a lot like they're trying to give credence to and rise to this irresponsible culture of you do something, you don't have to, worry about getting punished for it. They definitely do seem to try to do this. And I don't understand necessarily what their logic is in this thing. I really don't. So let's read it and see what they come up with. Hey, Gigi. Thank you for joining the chat room. So, hundreds of protesters in Portland who were arrested in the past 80 days of demonstrations will not face any charges. Multnomah County District Attorney Mike Schmidt announced Tuesday. The protesters are angry and deeply frustrated with what they perceive to be structural inequities in our basic social fabric. And this frustration can escalate to levels that violate the law. So you admit that they violated the law. You're admitting this, that they have violated the law. But okay, all right, no charges. Schmidt said this policy acknowledges that centuries of desperate treatment of our Black and Brown communities has left deep wounds, that the healing process will not be easy or quick. So in other words, because history, no one will be prosecuted for any crime because of color. Got it. The policy drops charges against people who are arrested for interfering with a peace officer or parole and probation officer, disorderly conduct, criminal trespass, escape, harassment, and riot, unless they were accompanied by some other charge of physical violence or property damage. They were angry. That's why they broke the law. Don't hold that against them. They have reason for doing crazy things. Portland has been rocked for months following the death of George Floyd as demonstrators decry the use of force by police, especially against Black people. Floyd, an unarmed Black man, died in police custody in Minneapolis in May A video showed an officer kneeling on his neck for over 8 minutes. Peaceful demonstrations in the Oregon city have descended into chaos as police and protesters clashed outside the precincts in the north and east of the city. The police union headquarters and buildings that houses police offices in downtown. You want to make an entire culture feel justified in bad behavior? Do what Portland's doing. If you ever want justification for poor behavior and ill behavior, do what Portland is doing. Because in actuality, what they're saying is that you don't need to follow the laws. You don't need to follow the rules. Just be a loser and we'll be fine with that. I am battled. I am battling myself trying to figure this out because there should be outcry. They literally went and filed charges, FBI investigations in the people that went to the Capitol. No buildings burned. One of their people or their members died. But lo and behold, you can riot, destroy buildings, cause chaos because you're angry, and you can get off the hook if you're on the left. Yeah. Tell me if I'm losing my mind here, because I feel like I'm losing my mind. Maybe they'll make more sense later in the report. Maybe. Portland protests moved into unusually quiet nighttime streets. I want, okay. Some agitators have attacked officers, throwing fireworks, eggs, and other objects at police and shining lasers in their eyes. You remember hearing about this, I'm sure. I'm sure you heard about that. Excuse me. Officers, meanwhile, have used pepper spray and made sweeping arrests to disperse the crowds. President Trump sent federal officers to Portland in July to tamp down violence and to protect federal property, a move that prompted further unrest. Don't stop us from doing crazy stuff. Agents from U.S. Customs and Border Protection, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and the U.S. Marshal Service were finally ordered to leave the city after accusations that unidentified officers were making unexplained arrests and without probable cause, claims that are now so lasers and burning buildings and burning federal buildings and causing a riot to scene is not probable cause. But those are not probable causes. Okay. Portland Chief Chuck Lovell, who was told of the police policy change on Friday, pushed back against the new rules and said they don't change Oregon law, insisting that people who commit violent acts or intentionally damage property should be held. Thank you, Mr. Smartman. Committing a crime is different than demonstrating, Lovell said in a statement. The arrests we make often come after hours of damage to property, disruption of public transit, and traffic on public streets. thefts from small businesses, arson, burglary, attacks on members of the community, and attacks against police officers. Schmidt, the prosecutor, emphasized that the rules don't apply to anyone who have committed an act of violence. Meanwhile, in the same breath, he said protesters are angry and deeply frustrated with what they perceive to be structural inequities. Their frustration can escalate to levels that violate the law. They used to call that forked tongue. If you're out committing violence and property damage, you will be prosecuted, he said. About 550 protest-related cases have been referred to Schmidt since May 29th, only 133 of which were felonies. More than 350 were misdemeanors and violations that included no claims of physical violence. Schmidt acknowledged that the court system is already facing nearly 2 months of backlogs. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure I can bring up footage of Portland riots and show you more than 133 people doing absolutely insane, crazy, illegal, violent stuff. I am 100% sure that I can show you massive amounts of violence in Portland, more than 133 people. Huh? So this is Trump. I was hoping this would have been actual footage of it. Of course, they won't show that because that'll
of people who have been
change
arrested,
everything.
but acknowledges the emotions that led people into the streets to protest racism and police brutality. Since May 29th, 550 cases have been...
Absolute nonsense. I'm trying to maintain my composure about this nonsense because they have allowed people to be destructive. And then you have to ask, hold on, what's a definition of act of violence? If you throw a brick at me or you come up to me waving a stick in my face and threatening to hit me, that's violence. So now you have to just hit people. Intimidation doesn't count anymore. That's good to know. That is very good to know. Because if that's how they're defining it, that leaves a lot of room for retaliation. So they have to decide. They will have to decide how they want to do this. They cannot be the same in one breath saying they're doing it and they're doing illegal stuff because they're angry. And then in the next breath saying, oh, if they do anything violent, then we will prosecute them. But then say they didn't do anything violent, even though you have video proof that they've done violent things. The Chauvin case did not change any of this information, did not stop them from rioting, didn't stop them from being violent. Nothing's changed across the country. They're still rioting. They're still protesting. Never enough. Never enough. You want to hear the worst part about this is that the absolute roughest time is about to show up. Why do you ask it's about to show up? Well, it's about to go down because of this guy, Brandon Mitchell. Not pictured here. Brandon Mitchell. See, Brandon Mitchell was a juror in my boy's case here in Mr. Chauvin's case. Mr. Mitchell answered no to a couple of questions when asked if he had any implicit biases that we needed to know about. Have you been a part of any protests? Are you an advocate for this? Are you one of the people that will be a BLM kind of supporter? No, not me. Only to come to find out later that he had been a part of the BLM movement, been at protests, been at rallies, has already had his viewpoint about Chauvin before he became a juror, and then took it one step further. He went to get his 15 minutes of fame. So let's listen to his entire interview. That way, no one can say that I'm parsing words and mixing them up. Even the president had his say. I just wish for the right outcome. Let's.
Mitchell was one of 12 who found Chauvin guilty on all 3 charges that led to the former police officer's conviction for the murder of George Floyd. I spoke to Brandon just moments ago. Good morning, Brandon. Thank you for your willingness to share with us what went on inside that jury room in the deliberations. Please tell us.
First, I want to start off by sending my condolences to the Floyd family. I haven't got a chance to do that publicly, so I want to do that first and foremost. But no, the deliberation room, it was pretty much, for the most part, it was straightforward. There were a few hiccups with, terminology and understanding exactly what the instructions were for each case. But like I said, for the most part, we got in, we got out. There wasn't too much banter back and forth.
Was there one juror, though, on one of the lesser charges that was a holdout for a while?
Yeah, so I mean, we probably deliberated for 4 hours, and of that 4 hours, it was. I guess we were going over more so the terminology that was being used and making sure that we understood exactly what was being asked.
That's photoshopped, by the way. That picture is photoshopped. I'm telling you right now, that's Photoshop. That is edited. That picture is edited. His smile does not go that wide.
I think the one juror that was kind of, I wouldn't say slowing us down, but was being delicate with the process more so.
I want you to listen carefully to what he is saying. I want you to carefully listen to what he's saying. If a juror who has doubts and they're in deliberation, in his eyes, he's holding things up. So now this is going to go into whole nother thing. This groupthink nonsense that they like to peddle. I'm going to make you think the way I think, and if you don't think the way I think, it must mean that you're a horrible person. You are slowing down the process. No, fool, I am analyzing. So because I don't fully agree with where you are on this assessment, I'm overanalyzing and I'm slowing you down. Oh, it gets more ridiculous. Way more ridiculous.
Was just kind of hung up on a few words within the instructions, and just wanted to make sure that they got it right.
And so how were you able, and that's how you were able to convince this particular juror?
Convince.
Clarification on the wording?
So we just kind of went around the room. We literally broke down the sentences and broke down the words and what the meanings were. It just described it several different ways from different perspectives until we came to a common conclusion.
Brandon Mitchell, you know that there are some people who believe that the racial climate and the protests in the streets may have impacted the deliberations. Was that ever discussed, and was that an issue at all?
We weren't watching the news, so we don't know what was going on. We were really just locked in on the case. And then with so much stress coming from the case, I mean, those things are so secondary because you're literally, throughout the trial, you're watching somebody die on a daily basis. So that stress alone is enough to take your mind away from whatever's going on outside of the four walls of the courtroom. I mean, that wasn't even
the blinking alone should tell you that he's lying.
What?
The blinking alone should tell you that this fool is lying. He could create gale force winds with the amount of winking that he's doing. He is lying. He is lying, like lie make lie lying. Lying. That's a lot of winking. It's a lot of winking. Man, looking to the side, looking up, looking around. Well, you know, it was too tough. You can't look straight. You can't talk straight. You can't. If it's that factual, why are you blinking this hard? You can't look straight at the person talking to you, asking you the questions. You have to look away all the time. Nah, don't buy it. He's lying.
What was the impact of that 9-minute, 29-second video? And was that the difference maker?
The video is it's a historic video, unfortunately. And then seeing the multiple angles of it from the body cams, from the other cell phones, it was probably the most important piece of evidence.
Was there any testimony? Was there one piece of testimony for you that made a difference?
What should be the EMT?
Yeah. So for me, I'll say two. For sure, Donald Williams, just how he spoke about everything, and Dr. Chauvin. I think once Dr. Chauvin got on the stand and the way he spoke and the details that he gave and the way he gave the
Really?
details, I thought that really solidified.
You're hardwired. Come on.
The prosecution's case.
Derek Chauvin not taking the stand, did that have an impact? Not hearing from him, the former officer.
Something tells me they don't want me to hear this entire thing, so I'm going to do this.
Yeah, definitely it did. When we were in the deliberation room, a few people wondered, like they wanted to actually hear from him. They were curious on, just what his thoughts might have been throughout. It probably was to his detriment that he didn't take the stand because people were curious on what his thoughts were throughout the entire incident.
It was I don't have to tell you, a very diverse jury. Your experience, you believe, has shown the importance of Black men to show up for jury duty. Why do you believe that?
Yeah, so
here it goes.
In order for change to happen, we got to get into those type of avenues, get into those rooms. We got to show up for jury duty. We have to vote. Those are things that are important to the society as a whole. And if we want,
can somebody tell me? No, it's not nervousness and it's not shyness. Is he blinking now? Listen to what he's talking about, right? Watch this. I want you to watch. The question she asked.
We got to get into those type of avenues.
The question she's asking him. You just watch the question. Do you think we should do this, and has to do with a belief system he has. It's a belief system he himself holds dear to. No blinking. None of the nervous stuff that you might have seen before. None. At all. Watch.
In order for to change to happen, we got to get into those type of avenues, get into those rooms. We got
No
to show up for
blinking.
jury duty. We have to vote. Those are things that are important to the society as a whole. And if we want to be viewed differently in society and start to see different results, we have to start to do those things. We cannot avoid them. We can't put them on the back burner. We have to put them in the forefront. And jury duty is definitely one of those things, especially with, the insane number of Black men being incarcerated. So we definitely have to get on those panels.
Do you see any blinking as opposed to when he was asked about whether or not the jury was affected by the riots and the threats outside of the courtroom? Do we need a refresher of when that question was asked so you can reference it to this? The man lied before. He's lying again. And now they ask him about something that's personal and dear to him. No blinking, quite coherent, very well written in his mind, and very well said out of his mouth. No stutter, no none of that. Nope. Over a factual thing, did it or did it not affect it? Did you guys hear about it? Well, we were kind of locked out, and ask about whether or not this black thing and black this and black the other. Yeah, we need to make sure we stand out. We do what we got to do. Go to jury duty, and the amount of Black men in prison, and eyes fully open, wide open, just fine.
And stuff like that.
No issue.
You began by giving your condolences to the George Floyd family. You haven't had a chance to speak with them. What would you want to say to them?
Here we go.
His name is going to live on. His legacy is now cemented in history.
Legacy? What are you talking about? What legacy? He is literally out loud saying what his viewpoint was of George before the case. What his viewpoint was of George during the case. What his viewpoint was of George in spite of the evidence. Legacy? Legacy. What legacy? A legacy of drug use? Of pharmaceutical abuse? Of fentanyl use? Legacy. A legacy. Legacy.
It's now become so much bigger than him as an individual. He's now become almost he's become a legacy, and it's a legacy that will forever be here, and it's forever it will hopefully create some change within society, and that is huge, and that is unfortunate. It's a positive lining within a negative result as his death. But that's just me as a positive person, just kind of looking towards the bright side. Like I said, at the end of the day, they still lost a brother, a nephew, a cousin. It still was a man that lost his life. But his name will live on, and what his name means now is so much more than what they probably imagined. It's literally cemented in history.
Cemented in history, a legacy. This amazing man. Y'all have to be some slow. His legacy. Legacy. This. Oh my goodness. I wonder if they'll think the same thing about Jaslyn Adams. I wonder if she's going to have a legacy. Or the myriad of little kids that get shot in gang violence, are they going to have a legacy? Are you going to complain about juror selection and the court case when a gangbanger gets put on trial? If he ever gets put on trial. Legacy. I love how they're showing all these little positive pictures of Mr. Floyd. Just amazing pictures of Mr. Floyd. Mr. Floyd. Such an amazing man, Mr. Floyd. You know, I want to see something here, okay? I want you to see something here. Let's watch. This is the legacy of George Floyd, all right? Legacy. Wow. Just bro. Oh my goodness. Let's do it. So you have a juror coming forward saying that Mr. Floyd was an absolute legend. He is a legacy building man. This case is just amazing for his legacy. Let me show you George Floyd's legacy. I am good, William. How are you? Mr. Floyd's legacy. All right, let's take a look at Mr. Floyd's legacy, shall we?
Yes, I was.
And have you had an opportunity to review your body-worn camera?
This isn't on TikTok right now. No.
Yes, I have.
Your Honor, based upon the order, I would move to admit and publish Exhibit 1051.
All right.
Just me, Will.
1051 is received, subject to the motion of limine.
Y'all can hear this, right?
If we may publish.
2019.
Seatbelt, sir. Sir, passenger, can you undo your seatbelt? Go ahead and undo your seatbelt. Please, I don't want to be shot. I don't plan on shooting you. I'm just saying, just take your time. Okay, relax. Just undo your seatbelt. Let her take care of her guy. Just keep your hands out where I can see him. Hey, let me.
Look, the exact almost verbatim same crap he was saying at his last arrest. I don't shoot me, man. Don't shoot me, man. I'm not that guy. I'm not that kind of guy. And then you hear her in the background spit it out. Same chewing drugs business. This one, he puts drugs in his mouth again. A year before. Just the year before. The exact same MO. You will hear him ask for his mom. You'll hear him say, don't shoot me, man. Don't shoot me, man. I didn't mean the same thing he was saying when he was higher than a kite on the day that he died. Legacy.
Keep your hands where I can fucking see them. Okay? Put them up on the dash. Put them on
Still
the
hasn't
dash.
done it. Still hasn't done it.
I'm not going to shoot you.
Don't shoot
Put
me.
your
Don't
hands
shoot me.
on the dash. Put your hands on the dash. The last time I'm going to tell you that. It's simple. He keeps moving his hands around. He won't listen to what I have to say. Okay? Put them on your head.
Top your head. Open your mouth. Spit out what you got. Spit out what you got. I'm going to tase you. Spit it out. He's eating all
Don't you jerk away from me.
He's eating the drugs he has, right? He's eating it.
Okay, now slowly come on out. Now put your hand on your head. Okay, relax then. You're not going to get beat up or nothing. You just follow what we're asking you to do.
I apologize, man. I apologize, man. I apologize.
Yeah.
I apologize, man. I apologize. Apologize. Legacy. That's George Floyd's legacy. Legacy. You act a fool knowing you're doing something wrong. But of course, just like Portland, they're going to start pushing this. Well, just because you do something wrong, there must be a reason why you did that wrong. And if you're that hurt about it, it's okay if you did something wrong. And because it's okay that you did something wrong, we can't really hold you responsible for your actions because you were upset. Of course, you will never see them applying this to conservatives who are upset. We're insurrectionists. We are insurrectionists, and we should be punished to the full extent of the law and thrown in jail and in concentration camps and in re-education camps. But the left, when they protest and riot, it's because they're upset. Years of discrimination. Right? Legacy. That juror has just cost BLM their ticket. I'm telling you now that they're going to move for a expunging of this last trial, and Chauvin will walk free. Because I know for a fact he's probably not the only one in the juror pool that was contaminated. I am 100% sure he's not the only one. He's the only one that wants the money bad enough that he's going to get his little 15 minutes of fame. You're coming on TV. You were seen at a BLM protest. You were seen wearing the shirt. You were seen at the George Floyd events. You have been heard saying things. You lied about being at protests and events so you can be on the jury. And now you have admitted that you were upset at people for slowing down the process when it was time to deliberate. He just literally he might as well have walked into Chauvin's jail cell, open and unlock the door, and say, "You're free to go." Even if Chauvin was guilty at this point, it wouldn't matter because he just gave the whole case a reason to be tossed. We had been speaking about this long before we knew about this fool. We knew that there was no way they could hide the jurors from danger. The president came out and talked about it. President, I say that loosely. Biden came out and spoke about, I want the right result. Maxine Waters, we need the right result. And when we say right result, the result we want. Or nothing. If we don't get everything, we're going to protest, we're going to march, we're going to cause trouble. You're telling me that no juror. All right. Okay. He literally just gave that case away. He gave the entire case away. I mean, the judge already had said that Maxine Waters' actions were enough to dismiss the case if he were to file a motion to do so in his appeal. You know for sure that this man is going to be filing an appeal now. An appeal is definitely going to be coming. And Chauvin will walk scot-free. And there'll be nothing BLM could do about it because you have a tainted jury pool. You have a tainted jury pool. And now that the same threat is out there, you can't even have a retrial. You can't have a retrial now. All of it's going to be biased. All of it's going to be leaning one way or the other. You have no chance of a fair trial now. None. All going out the door. Because whether you wanted to be a part of the protest or not, you have a TV. You were not sequestered. You know the threats that are coming your way to your family if they even remotely find out you had anything to do with it. Oh, they can take it out on themselves, but I'm just saying they won't get the justice they want. They won't get it. You think this is going to yield reform for them? This case will never yield reform for them. It'll do the exact opposite. They have just shot themselves in the foot thanks to that tubby fool. They have just shot themselves square in the foot. In their attempt to do the most ridiculous thing, they have done the most ridiculous thing. I'll check those. I can't copy them right now, Mitch. If you want to send them in my inbox, especially that last one, that'd be great. I'll check my inbox right now if you send them so I can have it. All right. There is no justice now. They have, yep. How you going to get a fair trial for Chauvin? And he can just base his entire life story now on the fact that he will never get a fair trial. And any judge can see that it won't happen. Doesn't matter what state he goes to. Doesn't matter what precinct he's going to be based out of. Nothing will change the fact that they have now destroyed any and all chances of Chauvin getting a fair trial and guaranteeing any justice for George Floyd. Maxine Waters ain't that smart, though, Chris Stephanie. Of course he screwed the DA. This is one thing I tried telling you about the Black Lives Matter movement. They are short-sighted, but they also bank so hard on emotion that they seem to almost forget reality. Or at least they bank on people not being smart enough to use reality. Let's see what this article says here. So they had two white women that were initially on the jury selection that were eliminated as alternatives and dismissed by the judge prior to deliberations. 6 jurors, 6 were white, 4 were black, and 2 were multiracial. So in other words, they had 6 and 6. And you have this clown coming out, making claims, feeling sorry for this and sorry for that. And when this motion that was filed starts to come forth and they say, we'll have to drop the case and dismiss it, one hell of a riot is going to start happening, and it's going to spread across the country like nobody's business. There are two precedents that will be set here. Two options of precedent. One, they're going to spark a massive amount of evil protests throughout the United States and probably the world too, Cole. Or two, it'll prove to you that emotions will now outweigh facts in a case. So if you ever have issues, don't even try to bring facts to the table because it won't matter. Right? Either way, there is no justice for anyone left anymore. I don't get this, man. All bets are off. No more innocent until proven guilty. It's guilty or innocent until threatened to get them guilty. It's guilty or innocent until we get the verdict we want and then make it guilty, whether or not. You see why I say that nothing we do from here on out to do with the judicial system is going to work anymore? Do you see why I say that nothing we do from here on out with talk and with voting and all that BS is going to work anymore? They are slowly trying to make sure that nothing we do on the calm scale will work. They're going to remove every possible option for us. Maybe, Wolverine, maybe. I did see that, Jenny. You will not see a single riot for the little girls, for the little boys that get shot, for the babies that get shot. No riots, no protests, not even peaceful protests, nothing. But for this scumbag, George Floyd, you'll see all kinds of statues put up, words about his legacy and all that nonsense. America, you've lost your ever-living mind. Ever-living mind, you've lost it. Anyway, there's some crazy, crazy things on the horizon. And I don't know that many people are ready for it. I don't know that we're ready for it. I really don't. I wanted to show you guys something here. Let me see if I can bring it up. I'm going to try and bring it up here. I know I showed some of you some of it. Let's try and bring this up here. Da, 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 da. Hang on, it's coming. So let's share. All right. So, in case you had not seen, and in case you didn't know, I'm going to show you here and now the options you have for merchandise. My merch is ready. These are the hats. These are your hat options. And hope you guys like it. Pretty cool stuff, I think. I'll be going through Patriot bills to get them done. And so that's the hat. If you want them in black on white, let me know. If you want them the way they are, white on black, you have the choice of these three options here. And then I just solidified one other thing, and that's the shirts. And the shirts are these. And these are your shirts. There is a text on the bottom of the Free Thinker logo here. At the bottom, it says, "A person who thinks freely or independently, one who forms opinions on the basis of reason, independently of authority." You're a free thinker. So you have now options to purchase gear. And the hats are not cheapo hats. These are some, well, you've seen mine. And for those who have gotten them, you know these are sturdy, very strong, and very well-built hats. You're not going to get any cheap stuff from these guys. And the embroidery work is amazing. You can see it on this hat. I mean, it is clean. You know what I'm saying? Very clean. So let me know if you're friends with me on Facebook. In Facebook, inbox me if you need to. If you would like to be one of the first to get this stuff, let me know. I'll eventually set up a store on one of my websites so that you guys can. I am sure you can probably get blue on black. I'll make sure I can find that out. I'm talking to him right now. Let me find that out right now. So there we go. Asking the question right now. Okay. So if you guys are interested, patow, they are here. I have merch. It's been a long time coming. I've been trying to get this moving for a while. So there you are. We will see how this turns out. Tomorrow, well, hopefully tomorrow, if not tomorrow, Friday, trying to have another conservative mind on to discuss a couple of things. I'm still trying to solidify that. I'm also trying to get David Harris Jr. on the show. I'm in talks with him, and also Topher, the rapper, to try and get him on the show as well. So y'all are going to, I think, enjoy those interviews once I get them. Fingers crossed. The biggest one I really want is David Harris Jr. I would really love to have him on my show. Just really love to interview him. He is a strong, strong, strong man. Well grounded, solid head on his shoulders, awesome role model, and a free thinker. So, again, inbox me if you have questions. If you have orders, let me know. I will ship wherever you are, man. You let me know, and I'm going to ship it to you. You just say where you are, and I'll find you and send it to you. Ain't no problems with that. Just let me know. So y'all have a grand rest of the day. I'm going to take that down. Stop screen share real quick. I'm going to try and solidify those interviews. But tomorrow, if I don't have them on there, then I will be back on same time at 5 o'clock. What I want to, if they're not on, the topic I want to address myself, nobody else, is this Bill Gates divorce debacle. Because there's more than just a divorce going on in all this, and I'll break that down to you. Don't let that fool you at all. At all. There's a reason why there was no prenup. There was a reason why you don't see a prenup. If we share your link, will it tell them where to order from? It will not if you share the link. Yeah, exactly, Jenny. See? When you break down what stocks they were, you gonna see something bigger, much, much, much bigger, much more crazy. So we'll tackle that tomorrow. That will be a very big. That will be big. Yeah. Anyhow, yeah, I can't wait either. Yeah, please do. Just send them to me. I will. Let me adjust this. I'll edit this. I want to edit this post, and so that you have. I'll put them to inbox me for orders. Okay. That way, if you share the post, it'll have them and what they need to do, and they can just inbox me. It'll tell me when somebody's inboxing me if they're not my friend, so I can still read the message. So you can interchange whatever colors you want on the hat, Jim. If you want red hat with white lettering or blue lettering, yep, you can do that. You just let me know. I don't know about the American flag. That'll be changing the logo altogether. So I know they have hats that are close to it. So Patriot Bills does anyway. So I do have a Discord server, actually. And I think it's WASSIS Truth. I do believe that's it there. Let me verify. Yeah, that's it. I copied it. Let me make sure I put it here for you guys to see. Hello, Nicole. So there. I put the Discord link there so you guys can find it, have it, chat there if you want to. And I think that's it. I think that is where it is. So get in line for your orders and for your merch. I tried to make it as neutral as possible. Something simple but yet strong that you can let people know that you're not sheep. Well, welcome out of jail, Nikki. I'm glad you got to serve your time for your country. I'm just kidding. You did the crime, now do the time, sucker. Yeah. So, y'all have a grand rest of the day. I am going to wrap this up. And Marla, you're late. You're late, Marla. You're late. I am now 89 subscribers away on YouTube from going live there. So we'll see how long that lasts anyway. I don't even know if YouTube's going to keep me. So we'll see how it is. So y'all have a good rest of the day. And remember, wisdom calls to you from the street. Choose wisdom. Peace.